right. Hey everybody at home. I don't know how to start my intros to my videos. What should I do? So I dressed up for you. This is how professors dress, right? Nice tie and suit. I don't know. All right, so anyways, this is our last day in France. We're gonna spend some more time in Paris. We're not going to the south. So much more to see in France, but it is what it is. We got 5 days here. Time to move on. I started off in this station and I went to the Pompidou and I started to walk my way through. I did a little bit of shopping on my way, but anywhere you walk is going to be absolutely gorgeous. And usually the way I walk is I see something nice and I go there. I try not to follow the flow of traffic between people, but generally speaking, the way people are going is usually the best, most interesting route anyway. So you could go and do either or. But anyways, I'm trying to walk and see the Notre Dame, which is over here. And of course, it's all blocked off. And then I went to the fountain and walked along the Seine River. There's some other really cool museums if you have a chance. D'Orsay is quite nice, along with the Louvre, which is over here. And so I walked over and went over here to my last stop, which is the metro. But there is a beautiful opera house there as well. So all in all, I think it is about 5 kilometers to walk this, and there's so much you can see, so many cool places. You can go back to the Champs-Élysées, the Arc. Let's get moving. All right, so today we're going to go to the Pompidou Art Centre. First stop. This is one of my favorite art museums. It's a modern collection, which I really like. There's lots of great energy here. Always something happening. You got live band and the whistle of the bird with some guys selling it. Always good to show up late, so that way you don't have to mess up with the line. And so here's the automatic line. Pretty quick. Get your ticket and you're in. Great view of the city from here. This is up on the top floor. You start from the top floor and work your way down. And so it's just beautiful. I mean, like I said before, when I went there, I saw this dude who's performing naked. So it was really trippy. And this is a really cool cafe. And I'm trying to get in. I don't know why I didn't just get a coffee and just sit down. But it's a really cool cafe, and I really like the whole vibe there. I think for the evening happy hour would be splendid. So anyways, this is built... Yeah. This is like a 1905, 1960s is the collection, and it was finished in 1977, and it's an award-winning building. As you can see, it's got like a exterior shell with the glass and then the metal. So it's got a really cool, very interesting. You should totally check it out. It's very different from all the other art museums in Paris. And so this is the great shot I was able to get from up top. Escalators, love that. And it's not too crowded. It's not like the Louvre. The Louvre is crazy busy, crazy crowded. And so anyways, we're going through, and if you know me and have gone to an art museum with me, I go through it very quickly. I usually go to every city's major art collection, and so I've seen everything more or less, and I'm a tough critic these days. So here's Picasso. That one I thought was a nice piece. And you're getting my personal method of going through art museums. I go through them fast. So I think I went through this place in less than 2 hours, and that's usually the way I do it. I don't really read the things that are on the walls. Again, I'm an artist by trade. I find it interesting in terms of the technique, but in terms of painting itself, not so much. But I really do like modern art in the way that it comes with different design ideas and aesthetics. So here's a prime example of the ready-mades. And I like installations as well, and I like photography, of course. So the way they experiment, this is kind of a fun one. You can read into that, but so anyway, there's Duchamp's famous piece, taking a urinal, making his art piece, using butterflies. Kind of cruel, but aesthetically it's very beautiful. This one throws me off. Taking sheet metal and just compressing it. So I mean, you can just imagine, right? If you're an artist and you're starving, you can't sell your pieces, and you have these massive works. I mean, what are you gonna do with it? And I do know some art curators, and they have huge storage rooms, and that's where they put a lot of the work. So a lot of stuff you see in the space you don't see because it's in storage. I really like this part of modern gallery spaces, is the idea of furniture being an art form, and it's awesome to see, bleachers. Are they bleachers? No, there's a desk or a ladder or a bicycle. These are all really interesting ways to think about art and design together. This is really cool too. Someone would make this, and this is a perfect example of let's say you were to buy this. Where would you put it? So it really fits in a museum, I think. Really interesting. It's all in French, so couldn't read out most of it, but super ambitious. I like this one too. This is made by, there's a good caption for it, but it's a cave. It's funny, this lady doesn't want to go in. Oh, there, she's going in. Nice. Another very interesting space, and then projection onto sculpture, I think is very interesting. This is a cool body of work by one artist whose name is, I don't know, can't remember. But personally though, I feel that it's more of a journey of art than the body of work is really what makes this impressive. An individual piece for me would not cut it. I would think it would maybe belong as a high-level student piece. Gotta love that. The stick leaning against the wall. This is a neat space too. Also, again, thinking about spaces and how they can be considered as art forms. And so the space is really dead. And I think it works really well with maybe the pianist that the pianist was playing. This was a cool piece. There's just all these sounds coming from the headphones as you walk around. Very interesting. But it must have been a ton of fun setting this piece up. And this reminds me something I would see at a restaurant. I don't know what to say about this one, but very cool. Super ambitious. Makes you want to climb up that. I think if it was interactive, it'd be really cool. And I think later on, when we get to Portugal, there's a really cool art piece that you walk through. And that video will come. This is awesome. The whole beer caps as an art piece. Very gutsy to put that in a collection. These are showing up more and more, seeing these miniatures of architectural buildings. And this is an awesome one. And I also wish I remembered what it was. Caption. And then some really cool city skyscrapers. A lot of work got put into making these, and so it's great to see them in art collections. I was mesmerized by this piece. Looks like a spaceship. And there are buildings like this. I can remember one in Seoul, Korea. If you want to have a chance to go over there, you should go check out the piece. So now we're going outside. This is one of the squares, and it's so awesome to see people just chilling. Like, they're not even using the bench to sit on. They're sitting on the floor. They're just having a blast eating. And this kid's just leaning on the bench. Awesome. Life is good, isn't it? And all the stickers on the benches, the art pieces. Very nice. I really like that mural up there. And there's a church right next to it. So lots of graffiti everywhere in this city. Gives it some personality, so you know where you're going, I guess. And so this is the city hall. It's called Hotel de Ville. It's a neo-Renaissance style building, and I always walk the same path every year, every time I go to France. And there's a tour group along with me. I could just fit right in. I love the way they light the building with the blue shooting up. It really gives a lot of personality. I miss those shoes. They were great walking shoes. They're called... So now we're getting to the Seine, the river. And this is the shot. A little blurry, but it was sunset. Great time. There are 37 bridges in Paris. And 5 are pedestrian, 2 are train. There's a lot of bridges. So it's a really great, beautiful city. And as you can see, some parts there's trails. So over there's a trail you can walk down. There's always people making out. It's very romantic. And I'm getting some gelato. It's a very famous Italian brand, but I was a little disappointed by the price. So I was being cheap. So then I walked out. Now we're going to Notre Dame. And, if you knew from the news, it got into a big fire. So I'm trying to find the best vantage point now. I've been there again sometimes before, but it's always fun to see this building. It's really impressive. It is. It's famous. Built in 1345. It's got one of the largest organs in France, and it's one of the world's largest religious buildings. Could get to very close to it. And here's the city courthouse. This is also the prison of Maria Antoinette, the Queen of France. Here's the Fontaine Saint Michel, and it's just a famous water fountain. And here I am thinking, wow, there's a really cool crowd. What are they doing? And then this guy is just doing these spray paint works. But really cool dragons on this fountain. A lot of people hanging out, just chilling. There's no water. I don't know what's going on. The bridges, beautiful. Beautiful place to walk around. And it's amazing, right? This walking path that I took was roughly 4 to 5 kilometers long, which would take you a good hour, but it was amazing. So this is one of the footbridges, Point des Arts. Before that was one of the research centers for the Louvre. You're getting closer and closer to the Louvre. So this area used to be also the royal residences, and they've converted to the world's largest museum. And they say it would take you 100 days to look at all art pieces. About 60 to 70% of the work is French artists, which is also very cool. You get some really cheap trinkets. And it's a really interesting place. It's super crowded. This is where the Mona Lisa is as well, which is even more crowded when you get to see the piece. It's very small, so it doesn't help with the crowds. It is the most visited place in France. One of the cool shots. Really cool place to see at night. It's not too crowded. See a lot of people doing Instagram. This is the Arc de Triomphe de Carousel, another really interesting place and the landmark. And now we're walking over to the opera. And as I was getting there was all this music playing. And I love dance, and I thought this was brilliant. I was a little tempted to try my dance moves. And dance. I have to not to. And it's also very cool that they put all of their bags and their clothes in the center, because pickpocketing is a bit of a problem in Europe, and especially in these high traffic areas. So I could see somebody just coming in and grabbing some bags and running off. So anyway, this couple is really doing a pretty good job. She seems to be doing pretty well. They're having a blast. The women always dress up quite nice. I can't say the same for the men, but really cool. You gotta pay to enter the opera unless you are watching a show, but it looks absolutely incredible from the inside. So if you got a chance, totally worth checking out and going to see the opera, which is just called the Paris Opera. 1875, 1900s Beaux Arts style. And now we're just heading home. So that's that. Hope you had a great visit with me through Paris. We didn't have a chance to see everything, and I'm not sure if I'll make another video, but is Paris worth visiting? In terms of the cities that have the most influence on modern culture, Paris is hands down, I think, one of the big three in Europe, which would also include London and also include Rome. I think just from what you saw, just the epic buildings and the amount of culture, the amount of museums. I mean, I didn't even talk about the cuisine. The food is also excellent, and so definitely, if I had to pick a place, only one place in Europe, it would probably be a toss-up between Rome and Paris. So if you have a chance, definitely make your way over there. And it's not too expensive. The rooms do get up there. I would avoid going there in the hot months. And what I mean by the hot months is once school gets out. May is the best time to go there, and September would be also a really great time. But totally avoid June, July, August. I think it gets too crowded, too many people. You start to lose the sense of place because you're just wrestling with all the people around you. You can't even see the floor. That's how bad it gets in a lot of places, not only in Paris, but in other places in Europe. And so do your research. The weather is awesome in May. It's about 15 degrees, 20 in the daytime. So yes, definitely. Paris should be on your list of places to visit. So have fun. See you in the next video.